All right, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're just playing by a set of rules you never actually signed up for? Well, today, we're diving into this tiny book that has had a huge impact on millions of people. It's The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and it's all about finding personal freedom, starting with one really mind-bending idea.
So, the book kicks off with this really provocative question. It asks us to think about this. What if our entire reality, everything we see, everything we believe, is just a dream? And no, not the kind you have when you're asleep. We're talking about the dream you're living right now, with your eyes wide open. And honestly, this one idea, it's the key to understanding everything else in the book.
Okay, so if life is a dream, you gotta wonder, who wrote the script, right? Well, according to Ruiz, we are all born into this massive, collective dream that was already in progress long before we ever showed up. He has a name for it, the dream of the planet. And here's the kicker, we never chose to be a part of it.
So what is this dream? Think of it like the invisible software running our entire society. It's all the rules, the beliefs, the laws, the social norms, everything. This dream tells us what's good and what's bad, what's beautiful and what's ugly, what's right and what's wrong. We're just dropped into this framework from day one and immediately taught to dream by its rules.
And how does this happen? Ruiz calls it domestication. Yeah, just like with an animal. It all starts when we're kids. The adults get our attention, and then they teach us the rules of the dream through this constant cycle of reward and punishment. We quickly learn to do things that get us praise and attention, and to stop doing things that get us punished or rejected. And after a while, we internalize this system so deeply that we become our own domesticators. We start enforcing society's rules on ourselves without even realizing we're doing it.
Now, this whole process of domestication, it has a pretty serious consequence. It basically creates a civil war inside our heads. It splits us into two conflicting parts, this relentless, nagging inner judge and the part that suffers, the inner victim.
See, our belief system turns into what he calls an internal book of law. It's like this giant rule book we carry around in our minds, and it's filled with thousands of agreements about who we're supposed to be and how the world is supposed to work. But here's the thing, we never actually consciously agreed to any of it.
And this is how that inner war plays out. You've got the judge, who uses that book of law to find us guilty for, well, pretty much everything we do, think, or feel. And then you have the victim, which is the part of us that just takes the punishment. It carries all the blame, the guilt, the shame. It's that little voice whispering, "Poor me, I'm just not good enough." And that cycle, right there, is where so much of our suffering comes from. And man, is it painful. Think about it. We make one mistake, and our inner judge comes down on us hard. But it's never just once, is it? Nope. Every single time we remember that mistake, the judge brings us back to court, finds us guilty all over again, and we get punished all over again. We're literally the only animal on Earth that pays 1,000 times for the exact same mistake.
But here's the good news. If these old agreements are the prison, well then we're also the ones holding the key. The way out isn't about fighting the old dream. It's about choosing to create a new one. We actually have the power to break all these fear-based agreements and start writing a totally new script for our lives. And to do that, Ruiz gives us 4 incredibly powerful but simple new agreements to live by. And these aren't just, nice ideas to think about. They are active, daily practices designed to help us take back our power and completely change our reality from the inside out. Okay, so agreement number 1, and this is the big one, be impeccable with your word. Now, impeccable literally means without sin, but a sin in this context is anything you do against yourself. So, being impeccable with your word just means you stop using your words to hurt yourself or to hurt other people. Simple as that. Ruiz says your word is pure magic. It can create the most beautiful dream, or it can destroy everything around you. He tells this heartbreaking story about a mother who, tired and stressed, tells her daughter who's singing happily to shut up because she has an ugly voice. In that 1 second, the little girl believes her. She makes an agreement, and that one phrase casts a spell on her for the rest of her life. She never sings again. That's how powerful our words are.
So that brings us to the second agreement, which is basically your shield against that kind of negative magic. And it is, don't take anything personally. Look, when someone is mean to you, or even when they give you a compliment, it's not actually about you. What people say, what they do, it's all a projection of their own reality, their own dream. It has everything to do with them and nothing to do with you.
And the gift of this agreement? It's immunity. Real, true immunity.
When you get that what other people do is about them, their words just can't hurt you anymore. Their opinions, all that emotional poison they might try to send your way, it just can't touch you. You become immune, even in the middle of what feels like hell.
All right, agreement number 3. This one targets a huge source of drama in all our lives. It's don't make assumptions. How much time do we waste assuming we know what other people are thinking, or assuming our partner should magically know what we need? The problem is, when those assumptions are wrong, which, let's be honest, they usually are, we create all this misunderstanding and sadness and drama, completely out of thin air.
The solution is so simple, but it really does take courage. You just have to ask questions. Communicate clearly. Stop writing a whole soap opera in your head and just find out the truth. It's amazing when you think about how much suffering we could avoid in our relationships if we just did this one thing. And that brings us to the 4th and final agreement, which is kind of the one that holds all the others together. It's always do your best. And this is so important. Your best isn't some fixed standard. Your best when you're healthy and full of energy is going to be way different from your best when you're sick or tired. The point is not to be perfect. The point is to just do your best, whatever that looks like in any given moment. If you do that, your inner judge has absolutely nothing to attack you with.
What this agreement does is it shifts your focus away from the result and onto the action itself. When you're always doing your best, you actually start to enjoy what you're doing. You're not just going through the motions for a reward at the end. You're taking action because you love taking action. And that becomes the real reward. Just enjoying the process of living.
So, what happens when you actually practice all 4 of these agreements together? Well, it's nothing short of a complete transformation of your reality, of your personal dream.
You begin to break all those thousands of little fear-based agreements that have been making you suffer for years. That inner judge and the victim, they start to lose their grip on you. And all that energy you used to waste fighting yourself, you can now use it to create a whole new dream. A personal dream that's all about love and joy and freedom. Your own personal heaven right here on Earth.
And that really is the journey the book takes you on. You go from being just another character in the collective dream of the planet to becoming the writer, director, and star of your own personal dream of heaven. It's a roadmap for leaving behind a life run by fear and stepping into a life guided by love.
Which brings us to the most important question of all. Because this stuff isn't just theory, right? It's a call to action. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Which one of your old agreements, maybe the one that says you're not good enough, or that you have to be perfect, or that you need everyone to like you, which one are you ready to break starting right now?